All right, we are broadcasting live. Welcome to Phil's First Party Parlay, where we talk all things timely and topical in the insurance restoration industry. I'm Phil Sanoff, trial lawyer with Morgan & Morgan's Insurance Recovery Group. In the Insurance Recovery Group, I've got 55 of the most awesome attorney colleagues you could ever want to know. We are in 25 offices, 13 states, all across the country. If you have any problem with any insurance claim, you need to come see us. You can reach us through our website, forthepeople.com. Hit pound LAW from any cell phone, anywhere, or just call my personal cell, 713-825-3444. Morgan & Morgan Insurance Recovery Group, come see us. I am joined this evening by my friend Ryan Davis. Comes back to the show. Ryan, please hit that magic button, sir.
I am here, Philip.
And there he is, my friend Ryan. We are very grateful for you to come back tonight, sir. Thank you, thank you.
Thank you for having me, and happy Memorial Day.
Happy Memorial Day. I hope all of the veterans, all the folks who have lost loved ones in these type of serving our country get what they need to out of this day. I did have the opportunity to personally thank some veteran friends of mine for their service today. So I had my Memorial Day, I got what I needed out of it. I like to think.
Amen, brother. I always get texts on Memorial Day and Veterans Day thanking me for my service, and I always think about all of the I just don't feel like I did as much, and all the people that have lost loved ones, all the people that I know that were in combat and things that I didn't have a chance to do or didn't have to do.
Right.
I always feel a little guilty whenever they thank me for my service.
We're grateful for you, Ryan, though. We're grateful for your service. We're grateful for all you did. We know that you did all that you were asked to do, if not more. So thank you for that from all of us. There we go. There we go. Well, Ryan, you have a background as a roofing contractor. I don't want to limit it to roofing contractor. The way you and I came to know one another was through your entrepreneurial spirit, seeing a need, filling a need, and starting Fund My Deductible that we'll talk about quite a lot this evening. But for our listeners who are here with us live tonight, for folks that are going to see this repurposed on For the People YouTube channel, other video channels that we repurpose this for, there are a few. We strip the audio out and put it on a few podcasting platforms. Let those folks know a little bit more about you and your background before we dive headlong into this Fund My Deductible discussion tonight.
Yes, sir. About 20 years ago, I chased my first hailstorm, and it's like luggage. You can't get rid of the business. So me and some fast forward to present day, a couple of years ago, me and a couple of contractor buddies of mine were trying to figure out a way to do it right for the homeowner or the contractor, to do it right, have the homeowner pay the deductible, make it as painless as possible for them to do that. And so we started Fund My Deductible. It was originally just going to be used in-house for us, 3 contractors, but we ended up spending so much on the platform and with all the IT stuff that was behind it, we had a flood of contractors coming at us saying, hey, we want to use your system as well. And all of a sudden it turned into a different standalone business. We had a lot of accolades from a lot of really high level people in the industry. We had to do some fighting with some of the big time guys in the industry to on the carrier side to get them to accept Fund My Deductible as a proof of payment of the deductible to release depreciation. But we fought all those battles, and now we're reaping what we've sown, and the contractors are coming in right and left. They're signing up homeowners right and left, and everybody's kind of seeing it's the right thing to do, and it's the least painless way to do it for the homeowner.
And we're going to talk about all the other pieces of Fund My Deductible. Since the first time you and I talked, I know there have been even additional aspects of Fund My Deductible platform, somewhat of a holding company that has different aspects of it. I hope we have time to get to that. We've got so much to speak of this evening. Let's start with, you said you brought it in-house. Now, when you say you started with you were going to keep it in-house. As I understand it, you don't live in Lubbock anymore, but I always think of you as being from Lubbock. You know, Lubbock is near and dear to my heart, with my daughter going to Texas, being a Red Raider, guns up, all that stuff. My daughter and my money went to Texas Tech for.
Well, Lubbock appreciates that. No, I'm from Lubbock. I ended up finding a hill country girl and marrying her, and live happily down just north of Austin now. But Lubbock's always near and dear to my heart. A lot of my friends are still up there. My folks are still up there. And so, you know, Lubbock has been in the bullseye the last 3 years with for lack of a better word, giant hailstorms. They're estimating this last storm, the storms, because it happened almost 3 days in a row, that went through just starting on the 20th of this month, that about 60% of the buildings in Lubbock proper, commercial and residential, were affected by these hailstorms. So that's a huge percentage of buildings there.
Well, and that's why I brought that up, because we started talking about it again last week when the giant hailstorms, I like to say the big hailstorms, came through day after day after day. I believe I was getting notices of it, alerts, for 3 days in a row, as you say. So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Lubbock now. How can my deductible help those folks out? Let's just talk about that. I know you have a little bit more firsthand boots on the ground knowledge about what's happening in Lubbock, even still. So I know that you want to address that a little bit.
So I like to think of the Lubbock roofing market as one big entity, because it really is. There's you know, some players in the entity may have 10% of it, some may have 30, 40, 50% of it, but there's really a small group of people in Lubbock that are doing it right, that have been there forever, that really take care of their clients. And Lubbock, because of that, they formed LARCA there in Lubbock, Lubbock Area Roofing Contractors Association. Real quick hit list on, they require a brick and mortar building that's been there for a time. They require you to have general liability. They've got all these things. You have to be sponsored by another local roofer there. And they kept the riffraff at bay, for lack of a better word, with that organization, because they put advertising money in, and they really practice what they preach there. Because anybody with, I think it's a small bond and a $30 permit fee, can go down and get a permit in Lubbock, Texas. They don't care if you've got general liability. They don't care where you're from. I
need to clarify with you for a moment, Ryan. You said they practice what they preach. I think you're talking about LARCA. LARCA put some advertising dollars in it, and LARCA makes sure that you have to really meet all of these requirements to be able to be a member of Lubbock Area Roofing Contractor Association.
Exactly. And they put a lot of advertising money out there, the members of LARCA, to say, hey, you know, shop local, use the LARCA member, you know, check and make sure that your people are insured, that if you're going with any of these. You're seeing people come from all corners of the planet because of the magnitude of this storm, and jumping in there, and they're still doing, I don't know if it's whether it's just in slapping in the face of the laws, or they don't care. They're still coming out there offering all kinds of deductible discounts, doing all this stuff, and it's the Wild West at this point. But if it works historically like it did in 18 and 19, those guys will be starved out. They'll be starved out, and they'll have to go back to where they came from.
Let's segue from there. You know me, I'm the trial lawyer. You've seen the show, you've been on the show. We talk about 3 points. I believe the magic of 3, the power of 3. There's 3 easy points for us to talk about with you and fund my deductible issues with the onslaught of hailstorms across the country. So let's preview for the folks, and then we go back and we fill in and talk at length about each one. What are the 3 points that you're going to speak about tonight as it relates to fund my deductible?
Well, first of all, I'll talk about the law and what it specifically says in Texas. And it's kind of ironic that me, a contractor, is talking to a lawyer about the law. But
you and I laugh about that a lot, right?
At this point in the game, I believe I'm an expert on this law. I've spent more attorney's fees, and we've spent more time talking to politicians, the authors of the bill, lawyers, clients, contractors, about the law. So first of all, I'll talk about the law.
All right, we got the law. Then we're going to segue into what, sir?
Collections, collecting, what you do to collect, either the deductible or any of the methods that or any of your outstanding AR, what you use to collect those, and what the laws require of you to do those collections.
And we're talking about collections of the deductible and the mechanisms that Fund My Deductible puts in place to help contractors and homeowners to comply with the law.
Right, right.
And then our third point, where we're going to go after we talk about those first two, brother.
What can you do as a contractor? What can you do as a policyholder to show the insurance company that you've paid the deductible, and the different methods you can use there?
I'm sorry to interrupt you there. I did want to make sure what I haven't done is we've got some attendees here. Attendees, Ryan, when you're talking, I want you to focus on what you got. I don't want you to worry about the hands being raised electronically or the chat. I will monitor that for us while you're discussing your points. So attendees, if you've got a question, you can put it in the Zoom chat. I'm going to monitor that and present that to Ryan. Or if you know how to click on your name to do the electronic raise my hand function, I can unmute you and you can speak with Ryan if you're willing to do that. But if you're more comfortable just typing it out, you can do so, and I'll read it to Ryan to make sure that we get through to any questions or points that our attendees want to address with you. So Ryan, okay, I kind of smile too when the trial lawyer is talking to the contractor. Tell me about the law, man. but it's me and you, man. So that's what we're going to do, and it's something you know a little about. So go with it, brother.
Well, I'll stroke a big wide brush with it. So in every state and every county and every city, invoicing for an amount that you do not intend to collect is a crime. It's insurance fraud. It's always been. The problem that's come up is people use different mechanisms to try to skate by that, rebating, doing other things. So a lot of states, 18 and counting, there's a lot of them that are coming up if any of these states ever get back to the business of doing business. A lot of them coming up in other states too. In Texas specifically, House Bill 2102, it was from both sides of the aisle. It was supported. It was pushed by lobbyists for contractors, as well as lobbyists for the insurance companies and attorneys on both sides, pushing for this law because Texas has always just been the Wild West. And so they specifically went into the law, House Bill 2102, and they looked at it. They talked to the contractors. What are you seeing out there in the field? They talked to insurance companies. What are y'all seeing come in as people trying to skate by these laws? And so in the law, it says in any way assists, rebates, credits, offsets, any deductible that pertains to an insurance company claim, it is illegal. And it's not, we're just not going after the policyholder this time. We're not slapping hands. It's a Class B misdemeanor to the contractor on every occurrence that they do it on. And talking to the politicians in Austin, you know, they plan on doing a bunch of stings on this. They want to have that perp walk. They want that contractor who is systemically abusing this law to be locked up, and they want cameras there, and they want it to spread across the catastrophe construction industry and say, hey, look, we meant what we said when we wrote this, and we're going to put some people in jail.
I'm not telling you anything that you don't know that we haven't talked about. It reminds me of when they did the perp walk in New York, New Jersey, back after Superstorm Sandy, the fraudulent engineering reports. I mean, when those laws are in place, somebody's going to keep doing what they're doing that they've been doing, and somebody's going to get arrested.
You're right. And some of the, speaking back to Lubbock, what we're already seeing, and for some reason, we've become kind of the depository of complaints, people doing bad stuff. We're getting emails right and left because of Fund My Deductible. And I think some of the people that we've had conversations with and that have spoken to FMD to at a bunch of the conventions and really supported us, and some of their status on the carrier side and also on the construction side, they're starting to, contractors and even homeowners are starting to send us stuff. Hey, we're seeing this guy's offering this kind of advertising. This guy says he's going to play musical checks with me. You write me a check and then I'll write you one back. We'll even wait for my check to clear before I cash yours as far as that deductible goes. Well, I'll be the first to tell you, a lot of the insurance companies, some of them and some of my good friends in Lubbock and my business partner, Chris Kincaid, actually had a farmer's investigator walk into his office and say, we've got this deductible, this deductible, this deductible. Can you show us where that homeowner paid this deductible to you, whether it was a cash, check, whatever it was, credit card. One of them was Fund My Deductible. They had an agreement to pay it out over time. They wanted to check and make sure that they were paying as advertised, because it does allow you in the law to pay out over time, which is what Fund My Deductible does. And so they want to see those things. They're going to investigate. They're going to see that stuff. And if you can't provide it, or you see a check coming in one way and a check going out the other way for the exact same amount, you've broken the law. You've broken the law. But until they start a quote from Chris, everybody's going to speed until they start writing tickets. And it looks like it's getting closer and closer to them start writing tickets.
I think it is closer and closer. And you may know that I have some relationships with some prosecution folks and TDI and folks in the Attorney General's office that I hear from when there are big hailstorms at whatever across the country, and in Texas specifically, because we've started getting them. The Texas Department of Insurance and the Attorney General office in Texas, we have some dialogue about what's going to be prosecuted and what's not. It's my understanding from them that they need to see contracts. They need to know that contracts exist and see where the roofing contractors have actually violated the statute. I know the marketing is out there, and that's upsetting. And we all know that folks are going to do what they say on that door hanger. But have you heard from homeowners that have actually signed contracts and wonder if they can get out of them?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. We're seeing some of them come in. People are doing a 3-part contract. It just blows my mind. They're signing a contract there that says, okay, on this contract, you're responsible for paying the deductible, but now I'm going to pull this one out. And it's called an advertising deal. Fill this out right here, and we're going to give you advertising money. And sign this one. And then here's the third piece of it that says that we're going to pay you for said advertising, ironically, for the exact same amount as your deductible. And so all 3 of those pieces being put together really paints a picture of dirty actors and dirty hands.
And as being a part of the process that helped that law come into being, and having Fund My Deductible to make sure you follow, that folks have an avenue reasonably to follow the law, are those advertising agreements. I've heard of those. Let us put this sign in your yard for 60 days for the next 10 storms, and we'll pay you. Oh my goodness, your deductible is $6,000, Mr. Sanoff. We'll pay you $6,000 to do that. Are those type of open quote agreements, close quote, addressed in the law?
It specifically says any way assists, rebates, credits, offsets, declines to charge or collect, which is going to be my second point, but rolling into it now, collect. It says in the law in 4 different places, failure to collect is a crime. And so jumping next to my number 2.
Let's move into what constitutes collect, and that's your second point. So just take it from there, please.
So the law has said on there, okay, credit card statement, credit card, a check, financing agreement, or promise to pay over time works. But a lot of people are contractors are saying, okay, well, we're going to do it in-house. Mrs. Jones, all right, sign this agreement right here that says you're going to be paying me $100 a month. Here's your $100 bill for your first month's payment. That'll allow us to send in this agreement saying that you paid your deductible, and then we're not going to collect any more from you. Well, that in itself is a crime, specifically outlined in the law that failure to collect is a crime. So if they do audit those accounts and they see that you're systemically doing that, now everybody's going to have ones that fall off, that they don't keep doing their payment agreements. But even if they do that, the way the law is written, you've committed a crime. And so that's what Fund My Deductible does. It kind of takes that burden off of the contractor. Hey, look, we have used an independent third party with great collection methods who is trying to collect this. There's consequences to the homeowner if they do not collect it. And we've used them right here, Mr. Insurance Company, Mr. Auditor. We've got these agreements right here. It is off of our plate. We have not committed a crime. We have used an independent third party to do our collections, process those, and then pay us for them.
Well, so I think we may have jumped into this a little bit, but I want you to address it from two different perspectives. So from the roofing contractor perspective, for that audience that sees this video, that may be here this evening, that hears the podcast audio platform, how does Fund My Deductible, that may not know, because it's still relatively new compared to the length of time for the roofing industry existing in Texas and all the other states that have this law, what specifically does the Fund My Deductible do in order to help the roofing contractor? What's the process, the mechanism to help them collect?
So initially, contractors say they want to use Fund My Deductible, and the way that we presented it to contractors is look, it securely, legally allows you to do the least painful thing for the homeowner, to do what's right, which is pay the deductible. It's no qualifying, no credit check to the homeowner. It's 0% to the homeowner. You then sign up as the contractor. You can enter your salespeople underneath you. The contractor will have his own portal where he can see all the salespeople underneath him. The salesman will have his own portal where he can see himself and all the homeowners and policyholders that are underneath him. And every homeowner will have their own portal where they can go in and change their method of payment if a credit card's going to expire or gets canceled or whatever that is, can monitor how many payments they've made, how many they have left. We then take those payments securely, process those payments, and then pay it out to the contractor at 94% of every dollar collected. And so Fund My Deductible keeps 6% of the money, 3% if you were going to do it in-house, and this has always been my kind of bullet points. And okay, you want to do it in-house, that's fine. If you have 10 of them funded out over 36 months, you're touching that paper 1,000 times, bringing in that payment, processing it, putting it where it goes in your system. With Fund My Deductible, we take all of that off of your plate, do all of those things for you, send you a check on every single one of them that has every single salesman listed on it, has every single homeowner or policyholder that's listed underneath them. And so you can do that, but if you're going to do it in your house yourself, not only that time that it would take, your credit card processor charges you probably 3%. What is your time worth? If it's not worth another 3%, then you probably need to do something else because it's going to take up a lot of your time.
So it sounds to me like you've got not only a seamless portal for the policyholders that they can view what they've paid, when their next payment is, how much they have left, but it's also seamless from the contractor side so they can plan, so they can know what's happening and what's coming up and what they have left on that from both sides of that for the contractor and the policyholder. Do I understand that right?
Exactly right. The policyholder gets a certificate. The contractor also gets a certificate that says it's been set up after they've made the first payment. It says that this is a funding agreement to pay over time. You can print out that, or it comes in PDF. You can take that certificate, send it in with your work completed invoice, and that gets you your depreciation released, and it keeps you compliant. If you have access to our portal as an FMD contractor, that insurance company comes into your office and says, well, let's look at Mrs. Jones. You said you signed up Miss Jones on this funding agreement. Bam, go and log into your contractor portal, show them the certificate, the agreement that you got with Miss Jones right there, show that it's through an independent third party like FMD, and you're compliant with the law across the board as far as collecting, doing what's right.
Fantastic. Fantastic. We've still got some attendees. I want to break for a second. We've got 5 minutes left. If there are any questions, any comments, put them in the chat, please, so I can present them to Ryan. Ryan, we've got 5 minutes left. I'll let you pick it on whether you would like to go into what do you do, what does the carrier accept, or whether you'd like to expand more on the offerings of the Fund My Deductible holdings. Both of them sound reasonably relevant to me. We can bring you back to do another show, but we're right up on with so many storms in Texas, so many storms across the country. I want to get the best value we can for the audience and for Fund My Deductible. Spend the next 5 minutes talking about which one of those topics is going to be the best for you to bring value.
Well, I'll go ahead and go with my third point, and I can kind of segue that into my my plug. And so what can you do? The things that the Texas law specifically asks for, and what all carriers are going to start asking for nationwide. A canceled check, a credit card statement, a financing agreement, a funding agreement like you get through Fund My Deductible. Well, we had we were looking at, okay, competing with the financing side, competing with the guy who wants to use his credit card to pay the deductible. So Fund My Deductible, we kind of had a mothership invention there, which is the FMD Holdings site, fmdholdings.com. And what
That's what I
FMD
wanted to make sure you could get that plug in, Ryan. Go
right. And what FMD Holdings does, because of the volume that we do through Fund My Deductible, we've got a great plan for just processing. Every contractor uses a payment processor to run their credit cards. We've got a payment processor who is allowing our contractors to use their system at 1.5% for debit cards, 2.5% for credit cards, which is unheard of. And so not only are we taking advantage of that on the Fund My Deductible side, but our contractors, if you're an FMD contractor, you can process payments too with those low rates. And so then the next option was financing. We kind of thought of financing as a competitor from Jump Street. You can either fund it over time or you can go out and get a financing deal. We soon found out that we're working in two different spaces. Average homeowner's deductible is $2,000. Most financing companies won't do less than $2,500. So people are putting up grades, a bunch of other things in financing. So we partnered up with one of the big financing companies that has no dealer fees. They go down to a 600 credit score. They go down, or they pay directly to the contractor. And all three of those things, Fund My Deductible, Finance My Deal, Fund My Deal, and Process My Deal, can all be accessed from fmdholdings.com.
Wonderful.
I highly suggest anybody to go to the straight fundmydeductible.com site and look at some of the stuff. We've got some laws listed on there. We've got some where we've been in the news, some of the accolades and awards that we've gotten already. And so, like I said, I'd segue both of those into the shameless plug for you, Phil.
I wanted to make sure we got that in there for you. Now we've got 2 minutes. One thing that occurs to me, we didn't talk about this ahead of time as part of the making sure we got it through. So I apologize that I'm catching you cold, but I'm sure you can address this at any event. If a policyholder is hearing this and has a contractor that she really wants to use, but the contractor is not already an FMD contractor that uses it, what should the policyholder do?
Well, from the FMD holding side, if we're talking about it, you can go down there to the bottom of it and it says find an FMD contractor.
Okay.
So we're already starting to see that where homeowners are saying, I don't want to go with this roofing company, but my neighbor used FMD for their deductible. How do we do this? And so they can go in there, or they can give us a call. They can go in there and they can put their information, and we'll locate a relatively local, close FMD vetted contractor.
Wonderful.
That homeowner or policyholder can use. And
I really appreciate the way you said that. I don't mean to cut you off, but you said FMD vetted, and that's important in your industry, in our insurance restoration industry right now, to make sure it's FMD vetted. Thank you for using that term. I had forgotten to point that out.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're not going to have any contractors in here because we've got such a big eye on us from the insurance companies, their lawyers, even politicians to a certain point. We are not going to allow contractors to come in and systemically abuse FMD, sign up, several people. If we see them, we've got it in our terms and conditions. If we see more than a couple of their policyholders, homeowners, defaulting on these and us having to go through the collections process that we go to and dinging their credits and everything, if we see that, we will disqualify them as an FMD contractor. We want this to be the rule, not the exception. And if it's people out there abusing it, then they will no longer be our contractor.
Ryan, we've got 1 minute left. I want to make sure that we let folks know, contractors, homeowners, tell them the best way to get in touch with you, and any last thing you want to say as I take us home.
Yep. Fundmydeductible.com. And if you want to access all three, the processing, the financing, and the funding, you can go to fmdholdings.com and access any three of them from there. If you happen to be a homeowner policyholder, you can go to the FMD Holdings site there. Put in your information and we will find you a good qualified contractor that is an FMD vetted contractor on there. And I'd also like to say it's not just for contractors. We're seeing a lot of referrals coming from PAs. We're seeing a lot of referrals coming from attorneys. people know now, you know, a lawyer doesn't want to get caught with his hand in the cookie jar, or a PA by somehow circumventing the deductible. So they're giving the option to the people that they're doing work for. And we're seeing some giant deductibles coming down the pipe there. You know, this isn't just for the small fixed income people. We're seeing some $5,000, $10,000 deductibles that a homeowner would much rather put it on his credit card, earn his miles over the next 3 months than pay for it all up front. And so it makes it seamless for the contractor, for the carrier, for the homeowner, the policyholder to do it right.
Boy, you said it. Do it right. I'm grateful. We're grateful for your time, Ryan. We're up against it a little over, so I'm going to have to take us home. Ryan Davis, Fund My Deductible. Thank you so much for your time. We look forward to having you back soon. With all the hailstorms going on, I'm sure we're going to have to have some topics to have you back. Attendees, thank you for your courtesy of being here, and we will take us home now. Phil's First Party Parlay, brought to you by Morgan & Morgan Insurance Recovery Group. Come see us. Thanks, Ryan. Have a good night.
Here, Philip.
All right, brother.